Welcome back, everybody. I just got back from my trip down to Chile. That was awesome. Had a great time. Saw some really cool stuff. Weather was beautiful. Ate some amazing food and got the job done. Well, for now. Anyhow, I'm back. I came home to another box full of goodies. I got a box from DigiKey and a box from Aircraft Spruce. From Aircraft Spruce, we got the pitch autopilot harness that we needed. So that should be the last cable I needed to run through the fuselage. That's a good thing. Also, from DigiKey, I got the CPC connectors. I don't know if you can see those. There's the bulkhead flanged connector. There's one that's going to go on the wing side. I bought all that stuff separately instead of buying a kit. You can buy kits of them. The kits I chose not to buy from like Spruce and whatnot because they didn't have the number of pins that I wanted and needed in the connector. So I bought all this stuff independently from DigiKey. It is not cheap if you decide to do it for both wings. It gets expensive, mainly because of all of the pins. The pins are pricey. The connectors themselves really aren't that bad. I think these were like $15 each or something like that. The pins get expensive though. So if anybody's interested, you want to know what I bought, I'll give you guys some part numbers later on, probably when I do get to installing them. I don't think that's going to happen in this video. It's just stuff that arrived, but we'll see what happens. What is going to happen in this video? We're going to finish, now that I'm back, working on the belly skins, get all the dimpling done, and get them as ready to be riveted as possible. I cannot rivet these by myself, at least I don't think I can. I probably shouldn't, even if I think I could. We're going to get them all the way to the point of being as done as we can make them. And then I'll try and get some guest help to come help me rivet these. I don't know if the riveting is going to happen in this video. We're going to try and get them done. If we get them done to a state and I'm just waiting, then we're going to switch back to running some wiring and getting that stuff done. So, yeah, that's about it. Short update. And we'll get right back into building this airplane. Voiceover Tim will get you caught up on what happens. Okay. So, it is now Saturday, the 25th. This video has actually been done and edited for almost a week now. And the reason I've sat on it for so long is because putting these belly skins on did not go, it did not go per the van's plans, and it did not go even according to my plan. So we'll get into that more here as we go. But just starting out, you see I've got the two side skins here. I'm getting the vinyl finally peeled off of everything. It's time to get all of the holes prepped, normal skin prep stuff. Final drill, dimple as needed, do all the edge prep. And then there's those two holes in the that one side one. That is my right side pan. And those are for the EarthX battery vents that are going to live in that lower forward baggage compartment later. You saw me do those in a previous video. And if you watch the podcast, that I'm not sure if it's out by the time you see this video or not, but the most recent podcast, I talk about that, and I think that I had screwed up because I was trying to figure out why I had two 3/8 vents when each battery has a 1/4 inch vent, and thought I only needed one. But it turns out I was right. I do need two because there are two 1/4 inch vents that come off of each battery. And if you want to run those to a single vent, you have to Y them into a 3/8 vent. So that is why I have two vents, because I have two batteries. So anyhow, if you watch the podcast and you thought I screwed up because I thought I screwed up, turns out I didn't screw up. Just overthinking things. Anyhow, moving right along. We're getting these things in place. We're getting them all final drilled. I did already trim these skins when I had the gear temporarily installed, because you do have to trim the forward and aft skins there to go around the gear towers. Even more so if you're using the Sky Designs gear, because the mounting blocks are much more substantial. Here you see I am drilling out one of the pull rivets that I put in way back when that I should not have put in because it's keeping me from spreading the skin apart right there enough to get this skin tucked in there. Another thing I don't think I did a very good job of, or maybe I did and it's just so thick and there's so much compression, is those side fuselage skins don't curl in and pull up really nice against the belly skins. I'm not sure how they're going to lay when I finally get rivets in there, but there's a lot of tension pulling them away. I have since ordered and received 2 number 30 draw rivets. Those are the kind with wing nuts on them, and I have 2 number 40s. And the theory behind those is you can put those in, they've got a wing nut on them, and instead of a spring clamping things together, you just tighten the wing nut and it makes a much tighter squeeze so you can get a better grip on something before you rivet it. I like that idea. I think it's going to help out. They seem to work. I've tried it there already. Still doesn't squeeze up as tight as I'd like. Again, I think that's just because maybe I didn't roll that bottom edge like I probably should have. So we'll see. None of those are getting riveted in this video. I need Chris to come back and give me a hand so we can get all of that stuff riveted up. But this first part I was able to deal with on my own. Here you see I am marking. There are 3 locations on each side of the skins, forward and aft of the gear tower, that get screws. So I'm marking where those holes are because they need to get drilled out to number 19, and then they got to get dimpled for the number 8 screws that are going to go in them later on. Definitely a lot of stuff going on with these forward belly skins. I'll be very, very glad to have them completely done and out of the way and have that final section of the fuselage up there, riveted and closed up. Excuse me, just getting over being sick too. Fun times. Another thing that's going to happen shortly after this is the ramp, the exhaust ramp that's going to go in there needs to get put in. But again, a couple of problems there. One, when I built my rotisserie, the wood is covering, not completely covering, but covering enough of where I have to install the rivets for the front end of that on the firewall that I can't get the rivet gun in there. And 2, I have no idea why I did it or for what reason, but I already installed rivets in the holes that ramp goes in, which they don't go into anything. It's just in the firewall. So I literally just filled the holes in. So I have to drill all of those out. Not sure what I was thinking, but I did. There's more of that coming up. I'm going to have a live action update from the garage here in just a minute to let you know just what happened with all of that so that I don't jump ahead, and then I'll tell you where we're at with the rest of it. But for right now, we're just getting everything else prepped and ready to go. I really thought this was going to be a straightforward, kind of easy thing to do. Okay, as you can see, I got to get the C-frame out to reach the inboard holes there, and not the last time I'm going to be getting this out. I haven't figured out, but there is a mistake looming right now that I'm going to have to work around. And again, thankfully, it's a mistake that looks like other builders have made. If you've watched my channel for any length of time, you know I get a lot of my references from RV8hanger.com. He did a fantastic job building his RV-8. He did an even better job documenting it on a web page. So a lot of good reference material there that you can go look at. I know he has since sold his RV-8. Hopefully he keeps the web page up for a while because it is a great resource for everybody. I still use it. It's where I got a lot of my mod ideas from, as well as just he goes into good detail of the sequencing of how he did things. But like me, he made the same mistake that I did, and I'm just over there figuring it out right now. So we'll go to live action me, and I'm going to explain exactly what it is I'm looking at over here and why I now have an issue. And then after we come back, we'll talk about what I did to fix that and how part of that worked and part of it did not work, and what I had to do again to fix it and where we're at now.
Okay, welcome back to live action, and I've run into a problem. There is a step right here that says uncleco and remove the F802K-1 LG forward crossmember from the F822-1 forward floor panel drawing 61. That is this. So apparently I was supposed to leave this just clecoed in and not riveted in up to this point. And the reason being is because this this aft belly skin has to get riveted to that thing. So this has to get riveted on here. The idea is you leave this clecoed so that you can take it out, peel this up, rivet this row in, then after you rivet these and these, you come back and you can rivet this. Then, you rivet this on by curling this whole thing up, getting under here, riveting this to this while this isn't attached, then cleco this on and rivet it in place. Way back when, I did these rivets with my son on the forward gear towers because I thought they needed to be done, and I thought maybe I had just missed it somewhere prior to a bunch of the other installation. That was my bad. I should have left these. So now my choices are drill these out, which they are not easy to get to where they're at. Likewise, they would not have been easy to drive where they're at this point with the skin on and everything else. So I can drill these out, pull this cross member out, or what I think I'm going to do is try and peel this skin up, see if I can't get my arm under there to rivet that center section down, then install the rest of this as normal, just do these center ones as countersunk pull rivets, and then do the rest of these per the plans that I can get to. Not ideal, not what I was hoping for. So if you're at that stage, make sure you don't rivet this on until you put that belly skin on. It would definitely be nice if the instructions told you specifically that, like in a note somewhere, like, hey, FYI, don't do this yet, and this is why you don't want to do this yet. I think the why helps a lot, because otherwise it's hard to wrap your head around why you're doing half what you're doing. Anyhow, I got to get on with this, wrap my head around how I want to do this. I also need to put some silicone, I guess, in here to create a bond between the aft of this skin and this where it comes up. So we'll see how that works out. Anyways, that's it for the garage update. Back to the GoPro and voiceover.
Okay, so you understand the issue that's going on and what the plan is. And who is it? Mike Tyson said everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. That's going to happen here soon. The stuff you see there, that is, and I'm sure I'll catch some grief for that, that is some very lightweight, sound deadening, heat foil, heat resistant insulation, self-adhering stuff I bought off of the Amazon Aviation store a while back, with the intent that I was going to put that in those locations just to help with like the exhaust pulses, one radiating up through the bottom of the floor in the cockpit, as well as just cut down on some of the drumming noise and keep the panels from flexing a little bit. They are very light. They might add maybe an ounce, if that, probably even less. They're super lightweight. I also did test it with a heat gun up against the foil material. I could not get the material to actually catch on fire, deform, or anything else, so it worked really well. I'm only using it in a couple of spots. That's one of them, and we'll see how it works. All right, so while I was contemplating what it is I was going to do about those belly skins, you see that I went ahead and marked and measured and drilled for where the CPC connectors are going to go. And that's where they're going to go. That'll come in another video. Meanwhile, it's time to get these skins mounted. So there's the natural cure silicone we talked about. It tells you only to put it in those two spots behind the the stringers that are there, the ribs, whatever you want to call them. I put that one in the middle just to help keep this thing from vibrating and possibly causing cracks. In addition to trying to keep these rivets from cracking later on, because I know this is a prone area for that kind of thing because of the exhaust pulses, I'm also putting a smear of Pro Seal down on all of these cross members. Now here you see me attempting that plan that I laid out in the live action version where I'm trying to put driven rivets in that leading edge. I thought I could peel up enough to reach in there and do it. I was wrong. Another thing, don't put the silicone on until you deal with these leading edge rivets, because now I'm, sticking my arm in there and trying to figure out how to get around not getting glue all over my arm. So, lesson learned, don't put the glue down until you get to that back edge. Now, you see, I pivoted there. So this is where I kind of screwed up. I should have dry run this to see if I could get my arm in there like I thought I could to drive those rivets, which I couldn't. And I had already committed myself by putting the glue down. So I made a judgment call. Those center 9 holes that are on the inside of that flange, I drilled them up to a 7/64 size, which is roughly a number 33 or 34. And then I used MK-319-BS rivets, which Vans does tell you can use on the aft couple of holes on this row you see me working on now, if you can't get a bucking bar in there. I made a judgment call because I had glue curing, and I went ahead and put them in that forward edge. My mindset was they are already countersunk for a number 40 hole, so I didn't have to redo anything, and they didn't require me to change anything else out except drill the hole out a little bit more. I also figured it would be strong enough because I'm also using Pro Seal on these panels that the plans don't call for, so I figured strength wasn't an issue. I thought about it after the fact, and I did call Vans, told them what I did, and asked for permission, or forgiveness as it is. And they asked me to send them an email with exactly what I had done, and I went ahead and sent that. Did not get a reply yet. I followed up with them on Friday. They said they've been busy working on the RV-8 empennage plans, and they'll get back to me on Monday. I did do some of my own research. The MK-319-BS rivet has a shear strength of 258 pounds, whereas a AN-426 solid rivet, the 3-3.5 that was supposed to go in there, only has a shear strength of 179 pounds. So technically it is a stronger rivet. So I think we're going to be okay there. Anyhow, you can see I got all the rest of those in. I'm doing the forward side skins now. I'm adding a bead of Pro Seal to the firewall to help keep gases out. And there's a corner there you got to fill in a gap. So these are all going in the same way. I'm also doing the same thing with the rear edge of the cross member there. I am adding more Pro Seal. And the main reason for the Pro Seal wasn't necessarily strength. It's just to cut down on the vibration possibility and the stress cracks that might happen around these rivets later on, because there's a lot of pulses. The last thing you can do, and this was from Vans as well, is you can make sure that your exhaust tips have turn downs on them so that you're not just straight blasting these with exhaust. So that's where we're at with all of it. This is a common issue with that cross member, people riveting it in ahead of time. RV-8 hanger guy, he did the same thing, used the same exact rivets to do the same fix, and I've seen other people online that have done it. So I feel like I'm okay. When I do finally get an answer from Vans, I'll let you all know. Lord knows if I had to go undo it all now, I'm not sure how in-depth that would be, but another bridge to burn when we get to it. So hope you all got something out of this. Hopefully you're behind me in the build and you learned something from this and can learn from my mistakes, but came out well. We just got to finish getting the rest of it riveted in, and I think up next I'm going to work on some wing wiring and CPC connector installations, and once I get some guest help, we'll finish putting these belly skins in. Anyhow, thanks for all stopping by. Like, subscribe, all that other good stuff, and I will see you all on the next one. Talkie, drinky, drinky. We'll get our coffee in. Oh, yeah, that's good shit. Okay.